everybody. Welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. You're listening on Kello News Talk or KWSN in South Dakota or the mighty 790 in Fargo-Moorhead area. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agri, Brewer Agri Outdoors. And we're going to chat with Walleye Dan of Walleye Dan's Guide Service. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. I've been out on the water a lot, but yeah, things are good.
So, Dan,
Yep.
today is the 13th annual Fishing to End Hunger Tournament on Gull Lake in Brainerd. This is a huge fundraising tournament. You got over 100 boats out on the water. This is a charity event to benefit the outreach programs of Brainerd Lakes. What is the outreach program of Brainerd Lake all about?
Well, you know what? The bottom line is they pack meals and feed those that are hungry in Minnesota. It's one of those things where, if there's a disaster somewhere, they're willing to pitch in there too. But as you guys know, we are blessed with, we'll say jobs and, income where we can, we don't really necessarily think about where our next meal comes from.
Amen.
And there's a lot of those, people not too far away that are not so fortunate. And so, yeah, the outreach program is, they raise money. And like you said, this is the biggest fundraiser of the year for them. They make a lot of money off this walleye tournament. And yeah, they pack meals, nutritious meals, and, distribute around Minnesota and the area.
So this is the 13th year, Dan, and I don't know if you would happen to have this number, but do you know approximately how much money this tournament on its 13th year has raised for the outreach program?
I don't know, but let's just say, just shooting from the hip, I'm going to say 400,000, 500, half a million, just not an outrageous number, but like I say, it is helping immensely. So,
Dan, I got to tell you, if you're talking in the hundreds of thousands, it's an outrageous number because that's money that came from people who gave generously to help a cause that truly needs to be helped, right? And you just, how cool is it that this is anglers, this is fishermen, and we all love fishing in a tournament. That's fun stuff, but really at the end of the day, they're there to help. And how cool! I just think it's such an awesome cause for a tournament. Tell me a little bit about the tournament itself, right? Is it just walleyes? Is it multi-species? Give our listeners just a little feel for what this is all about.
Yeah, it's five walleyes can be weighed in, and scales open at 9:00. Of those five, only one of them can be an over 20 inches. So, the ideal bag is, someone goes out and sticks a big one, 8, 9, 10 pounder. I don't think we've cracked 10, but we were really close, at the 9 3/4 last year or the year before, and then they're 4 unders, which are just shy of 20 inches, so as you guys know, we're living in an age where our little forward-facing sonar can kind of tell us what we're pointing at, and it's changed the game a lot. So these weights are going to be really tight because we have a lot of really good anglers that know the lake well and know how to use their stuff. And, so, yeah, I guess the only wild card here is the fact that, the weather is so warm. I think the fish are going to be pulled up shallow, and those guys, they know how to navigate through that too. So it's going to be interesting, but yeah, it's always something different. It's either foggy or cold or windy, and now we've got, almost, pushing 80 some degrees and a good chop. So yeah, it's always interesting.
The good thing about this tournament this time of year on Gull Lake, in my mind, Dan, because I've fished tournaments on Gull Lake, is many of the wakeboarding boats or the large pleasure boats won't be out there making big wakes across the whole lake. And you know what I'm saying. You know exactly
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Um,
I
and
do.
not because the weather, it'd actually be a good day for wakeboarding because it's a beautiful, beautiful summer
Yeah,
day in the fall. But most of them are put
absolutely.
away right now.
Yes. Yep. Praise the Lord for that.
Yes. So so Dan, um, this tournament's on Gull Lake, and it's a live weight tournament. You have to follow the Minnesota regulations. 5 fish. There's over 100 boats in it, and I think one of the reasons why this tournament is so popular, I think there's two reasons. One is because it's a charity event and you guys raise a bunch of money for the outreach program. By the way, when you said, well, it's not necessarily groundbreaking, in my mind, when you said this is the largest fundraiser of the entire year for this program, that's groundbreaking. You guys are making a
Amen.
difference. You're making a difference.
Yep, that is the fact.
Um, but yeah, this event, first place is $16,000, which is very attractive for most tournament anglers. So if I'm not mistaken, you got tournament anglers from all around the entire upper Midwest.
Correct. Yeah, there's like I say, there's a lot of really, really good fishermen and women that compete in this, and that's certainly not how it all began, but that is what it has evolved into, because like you say, $16,000, you can't scoff at that. That's a pretty good chunk of change. So yep, it's evolved from the beginning, and like all things do. But yeah, it's just, bottom line is it is a fundraiser, and there's a number of anglers that see it as that, and that also of course want to win, and some of those winners have kicked back in after the fact and put money towards the outreach program as well. But there's some that are just like, gosh, I want to compete and win some money. So, but if we could turn everybody and really try to focus their efforts on just the fact that it is a charitable, contribution. It is a charity. Go out, have a good time, and you're raising money for people that need it. So
Yeah, very
that
much
is it.
so. And I know another event that's very near and dear to your heart is the Minnesota Fishing Challenge, and that is the same way. Dan, we really appreciate you coming on Gone Outdoors.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having me, you guys. I appreciate that.
All right, stick around. We will be back with more Gone Outdoors after this short break. Looking for somewhere to get all your fishing information in one place? Onyx Fish Midwest has something for you. Search for new fishing areas with filtering features such as species, abundance, trophy potential, lake survey info, regulations, and area insights are just a click away.
Getting to your target lake has never been easier with access points and public land ownership clearly marked on Onyx Fish. Mark and customize waypoints and weather for your exact location. Use code BA Outdoors to get 20% off Onyx Fish Midwest at onyxmaps.com.